Lesson 238, on my decision all salvation rests. Welcome to the Qigong support for A Course in Miracles students. My name is Judith and this is the Lucid Mind Center. The reason why this is called Qigong support is because at the end of the reading and contemplation together with you, I'm going to guide you to Qigong classes which I have recorded especially for this section, which is led by the idea, what is salvation? And in this Qigong class, I'm going to guide you into a deeply relaxed meditative state, either in a standing or a seated Qigong class, where I'm also going to prompt you to read your lesson and read the prayer of today's lesson. I'm going to give you more instructions in the end. This is also where you can tell me where you're from, if you like it, how long you've been with A Course in Miracles, and follow me if you like it. So let's see what the lesson has in for today for us. Lesson 238, on my decision all salvation lies. Today, this is a very long prayer. So in the Qigong class, I'm going to ask you to read the idea, on my decision, all salvation rests, and read the prayer. And after that, we are going to sink into meditation and contemplate by ourselves in the meditation what this means for us and receive a message from our higher self. Father, your trust in me has been so great, I must be worthy. You created me and know me as I am. And yet you placed your Son's salvation in my hands and let it rest on my decision. I must be beloved of you indeed, and I must be steadfast in holiness as well, that you would give your Son to me in certainty that he is safe, who still is part of you, and yet is mine because he is myself. That is a very interesting idea here, because when I'm reading these kind of sections, I'm always wondering to myself, so who is your Son? Who could this be? So there's various options for that one Son, which is also that one self. So you give your Son to me in certainty that he is safe, who still is part of you. So this is the sons, this is all the people which are around me. This is my husband, my children, my family, my parents, my mother. These are all the sons which are one with me, but also the Son which is within me. So the Son, the Christ consciousness within me, is also being given to me by God. So we are all one. And this is actually quite an interesting thing to contemplate in today's lessons and in today's Qigong class. Who is that one Son? So let's see what the explanation says. And so again today we pause to think how much our Father loves us and how dear his Son, created by his love, remains to him, whose love is made complete in him. So the love is made complete in his Son, and you and me, we are his Son. And everybody we possibly can think of is his Son, because we are all that one self. I find it actually quite interesting that to people who are not Course in Miracles students, it is very difficult to grasp this idea. And when you consider that about yourself, how you are accepting now at this level of A Course in Miracles, at level 238, at lesson 238, you actually, it is not so alien to you to think that we are actually all one. That is quite an achievement. We have come a really long way. I had a time where I could see in any other couple, I could see my husband and me, the couple. I could always see, this could be us in a future experience or in a past experience. This could be like a parallel life of me and my husband. I could be the male, or I could be the female in the couple I was observing. But it was always very difficult for me to see my husband and me as the one. I always felt that we are kind of separated. And it's only recently that I can actually consider that also him is the one with me. This is something which is dawning on me. I haven't got it completely clear in my head, or in my mind, or in my awareness, but it's dawning on me. And it's also dawning on me when I see my children, that they are also one with me. And this is quite a movement. It took me quite some years to get to this arising thought, to get to the acceptance, or accepting that as a possibility, because I haven't grasped it quite yet, but I can see that I could possibly accept that as a reality. And that is the first step. So if I want you to observe this within yourself, where are you with this acceptance that we are all one, or that this loved one of yours is actually another aspect of you? Or then also go further than this person you do not like, that this is also an aspect of that one self, which is behind the displays of the ego, which we are supposed to overlook. We don't want to focus on the ego. We want to focus on the light, which is hidden behind it. We want to hold the vision of the light within the other, and we want to hold the vision of what kind of future, what kind of world we want to manifest. On my decision, all salvation rests. It is your decision what this world vision gotta look like. Your decision is making it happen. Your light is thrown onto the world. Your vision is the gift to this world. You are influencing the world. We are influencing the world with our vision, with our expectations, with our decisions. On my decision, all salvation rests. Father, your trust in me has been so great, I must be worthy. I must be worthy. I want you to say that with me. Your trust in me has been so great, I must be worthy. And you are worthy. It is arrogance not to believe that you are worthy. You created me and know me as I am. And also have to remember, if you are worthy, so is everybody else, because it's the true self within each one of us which makes us worthy. You have to think about this, and this is like the fuel which makes this body function, which makes this mind function. This is the fuel, this is the Christ consciousness, this is love. This is that energy which makes it all happen. And if you take that for granted, if you forget that this is what makes life even possible, then you fall into that ego trap, thinking, okay, it's the ego which makes it happen. No, it's not the ego. The ego is feeding on love as well. It's feeding on that energy as well. And we just have to remove our attention from whatever the ego wants to put its attention on. Father, your trust in me has been so great, I must be worthy. You created me and know me as I am, and yet you have placed your Son's salvation in my hands and let it rest on my decision. On my decision, all salvation rests. I must be beloved of you indeed, of that love, of that universal power. And I must be steadfast in holiness as well, that you would give your Son to me in certainty that he is safe, who still is part of you and yet is mine because he is myself. And so again today we pause to think how much our Father loves us and how dear His Son, created by His love, remains to Him, whose love is made complete in Him. On my decision, all salvation rests. And I very much feel the further we are going in the course, in those last 130 lessons, the more it really depends on our experience. It depends on our decision, how we want to experience the day, how we want to experience our life. We are so incredibly powerful. And we have forgotten this. And we are not teaching each other that. We are believing ourselves to be powerless, and then we're teaching this powerlessness to other people too. And we've got to take the decision. We've got to change our mind and take a new decision, and understanding that we are powerful beyond measure because we are taking the decision about salvation. We take a decision on salvation, on saving, on understanding what salvation even is. Salvation is returning to inner peace, and this is what we are contemplating in those 2 Qigong classes which I have created. So I've got a standing Qigong class which I suggest you do in the morning, and then the seated classes you can do in the evening. You can also do other Qigong classes if you fancy to do something else. You can also just not do a Qigong class and just read the lesson before you fall asleep. It's up to you. I'm just here helping you along. And always listen to yourself. Remember that you are your best friend, your own best judge. And it's you who's making those choices. And what you want to do is listen to your higher self. And sometimes if you can't hear your higher self directly, then turn to another person. Tune into the light within them, and then sometimes your higher self is going to talk to you through them. So remember to leave the book open next to you so you can read it, because I'm going to ask you to read the idea and the prayer in the Qigong class. Here you have the standing Qigong class, here is the seated Qigong class, here you have What is Salvation, which I recommend you read a few times with me. You're supposed to read every day. And here you have got the whole list of Qigong classes if you would like to try another one. Enjoy.